Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Senator Vance. Katrina Kaufman, CBS News. So a woman who was behind an early Facebook post about the Haitian migrants in Springfield has now apologized for spreading false rumors. You say that you have a responsibility to share what your constituents tell you, but don't you also have a responsibility to fact-check them first?
Well, I think the media has a responsibility to fact-check the residents of Springfield, not lie about them. I mean, and look, I think this is really interesting. I actually think this is really interesting, and I've learned a lot about the American media over the last week, and none of it's good, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But look, what I've learned here is, first of all, I've got residents of Springfield who are coming to me with a dozen different problems. They've been talking about it for months or in some cases years. The American media totally ignored it until they showed up to fact-check what some people were saying about pets. Well, why weren't you in Springfield, Ohio 6 months ago talking about the housing crisis? Why wasn't the American media in Springfield, Ohio 6 months ago talking about skyrocketing rates of accidents, of car insurance? Why weren't they talking about the rural health care problem? Why weren't they talking about the rural health care problem because the hospitals have been overwhelmed? Why aren't they talking about the fact that in a small town, you've got a school district that now has 1,000, that's not an exaggeration, 1,000 children who don't even speak English? How are the American children supposed to get a good education when everybody's focused on the other kids, who, by the way, are innocent children, but that doesn't mean they should be at 1,000 in every single American school? So here's the issue. So there's one story out there from multiple people, by the way. Multiple people have come to my office, have said on video, they talk about the pet story. And that's all the American media wants to talk about. And of course, the American media goes into Springfield, dives in, harasses everybody who dares to complain about the condition of the town. That is not journalism, and that's not seeking the truth. That is bullying on an industrial scale. And I think the media ought to be ashamed of itself. And let me just highlight this in a very real way. Yesterday, we got a call from a constituent in my office, a person who's very worried about a lot of the problems in Springfield and has direct eyewitness evidence bearing on a lot of them. And you know what this person said? Please do not share my name with anybody, because the minute somebody in Springfield speaks out, a dozen camera crews show up on their front door trying to destroy their lives. That is disgraceful. That is a disgraceful way to think about journalism and seeking of truth in this country. You ought to go in and listen to everybody. By all means, listen to local officials. By all means, listen to the people who say everything's fine, but listen to the people who say this town has been overwhelmed by 20,000 migrants and they can't take it anymore. And by the way, that story of a small town overwhelmed by Kamala Harris's open border, it is coming to every state in this union under Kamala Harris's policies. We've got to stop it.